Hey everybody, still sitting out here on this porch at Lake Erling, just making some videos and catching up from last week. I don't know if y'all ever have this happen or not, but it doesn't happen to me real often. But this last week, going into that tournament, after the first day, I'd lost a really key fish. Going into the second, and I was missing some bites. And I was like, man, I'm struggling with something. There's something here that's not right, that's really giving me issues here. And I was like, I know I got the right thing going here, but there's a couple of components in what I'm doing that are not aligning well, or that's just not working out to make me feel like I'm the most effective. And I was struggling with that all weekend in this tournament. And all of a sudden, about 12 o'clock, I'd already lost about a 4.5 pounder that morning, missed a couple bites, and all of a sudden it hit me. And it's weird how something just goes, you know what the problem is, Chris? You can't see your line. You can't see your line. And I was using clear monofilament 25-pound test and then some 20-pound test fluoro on the two rods I was pitching with. And I could not see my line at all. Now, I know, I guess getting a little older, I've always used clear line for the most part without a lot of issues. But this particular tournament, the water had that brown color and the way the sun was shining. And I was doing a lot of old school, pull the line with your hand and dropping it in the bushes. These bushes were so thick, the only way that I could really get the bait back in there to the base of these bushes or the right corners, which is just, the water's super muddy, so I could go slow, get up close, and just dabble that bait around, old school flipping. What I realized is I could not see my line. I couldn't watch my line fall. I was getting hung up nonstop, like drop it in there and getting around little limbs and little things. I was like, I can't see my line. I can't see it over a limb. Also notice when I pick up my spinnerbait and I try to make a little short cast, even with my little 5.5-foot rod that I love so much, that was just getting hung up. I couldn't see my line, like to work it around a tree and stuff. And it was just eye-opening. And sometimes you come home, driving home from that tournament, like, I'm going to make a couple of changes. And one of those is when it comes to flipping and pitching and any kind of dirty water. Now, I grew up as a kid, we threw nothing but fluorescent clear blue line. We fished those clear lakes in the Ozarks, beaver, bull shoals. We never used anything but clear blue fluorescent. Summer, winter, it didn't matter. We never had any problems catching fish either. I'm driving home, I'm like, I'm a monofilament guy for the most part, and I know they make some fluorescent clear blues and fluorocarbon, but I am not paying $35 a roll line for 200 yards. I'm that guy, I'm not gonna do it. But when I was driving home, I'm like, I am going back to fluorescent clear blue line unless it's just ultra clear water that I feel like I just have to make a change. But I'm going to begin to fish this in clear water too. If I can make it not lose any confidence that I'm missing too many bites, it'll be worth it, because not being able to see my line cost me probably a few fish, and I think maybe the lost fish, because there was no bite. You felt no thump. You pitch in there, your bait is falling, and it just begins to swim towards you. Well, I couldn't see my line, so the only way I could tell that was my line. And by then, bad hook set, they flop off. I'm going back to clear blue. I'm going to keep you up to speed on this, but I'm going to James River. I've already went and bought me, Trilene doesn't make it in the XT clear blue, so we're going to the old school strand. Same old stuff Denny Brower used his whole career until later on. This is what I use at nighttime with my black lights. I don't have any issues ever with that. So I'm getting me some 14, 17, 20, and 25-pound strand clear blue fluorescent, and I'm reeling them spools up with it, and I'm going to see my line, and I promise you it's going to help me catch more fish. I just know it. It's one of those things that I just was like, I know this is going to fix the problem. So I'll keep you up to speed. Sometimes you just got to make a change. Even if it's going to cost me a bite or two, me being able to see my line, it's going to be worth it. That's one change I'm going to make. One other big change that after this tournament, then these things right here, straight shank flipping hooks. I'm done with them. I'm throwing every one of them I have in the trash. I've been fighting this hook for too many years. I've been trying to use this hook because everybody uses it and everybody says it's the one to use. I'm done with it. I've tried the snell knots. I struggle at tying it. I lost 2 key fish on this hook with that bellows gill on 25-pound test line flipping that I'm just not getting them hooked. And I'm done with it. And I've had I quit this hook a few years ago. I'm like, I'm not fishing that thing anymore. And somehow I listened to everybody else, thought, oh, I need that big old flipping hook. I'm done with them. They're all going in the trash. I will never use one of these hooks. Well, never's a big word, but I'm not going to use one of these hooks anymore. I'm not putting them in my box where I'm tempted to use them. I'm telling you, I lost a keeper. I lost a 4-pounder, 2 4-pounders. The first into the second day of the tournament with this hook. I was frustrated. I said, I'm going back to a hook I know I can catch them with. I went to my old just round bend, J-bend worm hook. This is the hook I use all summer at night. I never have any issues with brush hogs and worms. I put this hook in my bellows gill or shad next bass in the boat, 5-pounder in the boat. This hook right here, I'm done. This is the hook. I'm going to this hook for the majority of everything. I'm going to keep I already have every size anyway, but I'm going to double down on it from 1/0 all the way to 5/0. Plain old Jane round bend worm hook. That's what I'm going to use most everything, and a handful of extra wide gaps for Carolina rigging and a few other things. But I have no problem with this hook hooking fish. Every bass that bit after that I felt, and then that kind of goes back to my line thing, I landed with this hook after I changed. So we'll see how that goes. 2 big changes I'm going to make in my fishing going forward that I think is going to help some stuff. I know everybody talks about the clear line and everybody talks about these old flipping hooks, that they're the way to go. But, you know, that's the thing about fishing. We all have to find our own way. And maybe this is the best hook for some people. And maybe having to not be able to, you know, clear line and not be able to see it's right for some people. But I got to make some adjustments for myself. And that's the thing about fishing. We all have to find our own way and make the adjustments that fit us. And that's one thing I love about this sport. You know, there's some people might not be able to use clear blue line and get away and it work. But I know I can, and I know it's going to change my fishing. So always remember that. It's kind of like me looking for those areas that are off the grid. Sometimes you just got to go find your own thing when it comes to this sport and do your own thing, even though it ain't maybe right, and let it pay off for you. Hope you get something from that. I'm sitting here, man, that sun is coming up. This birds are singing. I tell you what, it's fantastic down here. I'm going to sit here and just enjoy myself. I hope you all are fishing today. If you're not, now that all this rain settled down, you better get to going and catch you some. Catch y'all later.